Hi Noel, and just having a look at your draft methodology. Sorry about the delay in getting back to you on this. It's just been one of those semesters. But just having a look at it here now for you, I think it's coming together really well. It's just a couple of pointers to make maybe in structuring it slightly more. With your methodology, you want to start off by explaining, a paragraph or two on the approach that you took. So in your case, you've some of this might be at the end of your introduction, where you're closing out the introduction with your research question, and then you're moving on to, in this section, explain why you chose a mixed methods approach. So you've said here that it was considered very suitable for this particular study, but you need to say why. You need to have a couple of sentences indicating that you considered various approaches, and then this one was deemed the most suitable for the following reasons. And then you've mentioned that you collected both quantitative and qualitative data. So again, you need to explain why these particular techniques that you chose were suitable for this cohort. Why did you end up picking a questionnaire and followed by a focus group? It's not they're not suitable, they are, but you have to indicate that you understand why they're suitable, that you considered various options. It doesn't have to be a huge amount on it, but just to indicate that this is a fully informed approach. It wasn't just that somebody told you to do mixed methods and you didn't, think any further on it, because I know that's not the case. You do know, you're able to justify why you took your approach that you did. It's just you need to make it clearer to your reader. You're getting onto the right track here with your paragraph here on the explanation of method. So I think I'd maybe put that a little bit earlier and then follow that with your justification for the particular techniques that you decided to use, namely a questionnaire and a focus group. Then you've talked about your participants. Again, obviously you can update this as the study progresses and you know how many numbers took place and so on. Just in relation to the number of students in the cohort at 128, I know what you're getting at here with saying they're a good amount, but it just doesn't read that well. Maybe have a look at the Creswell and Creswell textbook on group size and, picking your sample, and they're always a good source or author to cite in relation to, justification of your methodology. Again, you'll add into this as you go through the process of collecting the data. I suggest putting in your survey questions or your questionnaire as an appendix, and you can refer at this point to see appendix 1 for the questionnaire items, for example. That'll just avoid eating up your word count. And then you've got your discussion of your focus group and what you're going to find out with that. Again, that'll be updated as you go along. The last sentence here, while the surveys generated hard data, the focus groups were a less formal means of comparing. I know what you're getting at there, just a little bit unclear still. Again, if you have a look at Creswell, they talk about, the advantages of focus groups and why you would use them, or group interviews. It allows us to, if we take, for example, the survey findings, it allows us to explore them in more depth and to get an awareness or analyse the experiences of the participants that generated that data, something like that, just to indicate how the two complement each other. And then for your ethics, at this point, your study has received ethical approval, so you can just condense this into a sentence or two saying that, ethical approval was sought by the DKIT Human Research Ethics Committee and approval was granted, and that's basically it. At this point, you don't need to go into detail on it, and that'll also help keep your word count down when you start putting in your results and so on. So that's it. Noel, it's coming together well, and I'm happy to see it's got a nice flow to it. You've got your citations in there, so it's all looking good, and you can just then update this as you go, and when the data starts to come in, you can put in things like your response rate and so on. So yeah, thanks very much, and sorry again about the delay in getting back to you on it. Take care.